Welcome back, my friends, for another fun reloading video. Today is part 2 of Winchester 244. In the first episode, we got our rounds loaded up here with some charges we picked out of our data, and then we ran them over the chronograph. We got all that data, and now we were able to go out and actually shoot them and see how they worked and kind of grouped and looked on paper. So without too much rambling and whatnot, we can go ahead and get into that. So yeah, just a quick look at the brass. Nothing to see here. We already took a look in the first video and they didn't change at all between then and now. So we're gonna go ahead and move on. No pressure signs here with any of these loads. They were all pretty middle of the road. Nothing too hot, but we'll pick a few bullets here that worked out today and we'll increase those and see how we can get those running for us. So our first bullet was the 115 grain Berry's plated projectiles. We were using 4.4 grains here, and not a great grouping, but that's going to be more than the ammo we'll see throughout the day. Everything's pretty much this size. You'll often see a group and then I'll throw a few out. But anyways, we were at 1,073 feet per second for the average there. We are a couple tenths under maximum, so if we want, we can go back and play around with this a little more, see if we can spice them up a little bit. Overall, not horrible. Second, we had our 115 grain Black Bullet International, again with 4.4 grains. This time we were at 1121 feet per second and about the same size group, also a little bit to the right. And I guess our point of impact was a little bit down as well compared to our last bullet of the same weight. Not bad. We have nice round holes there in our target. And again, a pretty decent velocity, but we can move up or down with that if we like to. Third here, we have a standard 124 grain full metal jacket. We were running 4 grains with this one, running just under 1,000 feet per second. And this is a pretty decent group here, about 2 inches maybe. And these were all shot, I think I was at about 12 yards, and these are just offhand, so that's pretty good for me. And yeah, nice round holes, pretty decent group, and we can definitely move up a little bit on this powder charge if we want to. Again, there was no pressure with pretty much all of these loads here, so plenty of room to bump them up a little bit if we want to. Number 4, the 124 grain, I think it was a blue bullet. Obviously it's powder coated blue, but there's a company called Blue Bullets. Anyways, here's another 4 holes pretty close together, and then I threw one low there. A pretty decent 1,047 feet per second. And again, with 4 grains there, we had a few tenths we can move up if we want to do so. Anyways, that's not bad. I might just revisit that and see if I can shoot it any better. All right. Fifth here, we have the 127 grain NOE bullet from Booze and Bullets. My gun did not like this load at all. There's a nice horizontal spread there. 2 on this side, 2 on this side, a little bit low. About 1,040 feet per second with our 4 grain charge. So that's pretty consistent to our last one there, but not as tight on the grouping with this one. I could probably tell you why. Remember our seating stem issues where we were kind of deforming that. So I need to find a better seating stem if we're going to continue to play with these. And number 6, another hollow point. This one was my M&P mold. Again, you can see the deformed nose there on the hollow point. Again, with this nice flyer way out here, so 4 that aren't doing too bad, and then this guy here. Again, I'm going to say I need to experiment with my seating stems and get a better fit there if we are to move forward with these. We chose 4.1 grains and we were moving 1,016 feet per second. Maybe if we upped our charge a bit, we might be able to shrink that a little bit, but I think we're going to have better luck starting with our seating stem. Okay, number 7 here is probably our worst performer of the day. We went with 4.2 grains. This one is the Lee 356 125. And I think these are keyholes here. This is not a round hole. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shots. This one is oblonged. This one is oblonged. This one is, and these two might be round holes, but it tore the paper up. So velocity 999 average there with our 4.2 grains. And yeah, historically this bullet has done pretty well for me. So maybe we just need to play around with that, or it could be a waste of time with this powder here. But that's very interesting. This will be our worst performer of the day. Could be a total waste of time to go on. Okay, number 8 here. This is the Lee 358-125 round flat. It's actually for a 38-357 style mold, but you can size it to 356, 357, 358, etc. Use it in your 9mm, and this was actually my very first mold I started casting with, so I really enjoy this bullet a lot, and it usually does pretty well. So here's a nice little group of 4 with one up high here. Again, I'll take the blame for that one. So 1,035 feet per second average with 4 grains there. And I think I'm gonna continue playing with this one as usual. This bullet, again, performs pretty well. So we're gonna see if we can make it even better. In the number 9 spot, the Lyman 356-634. This one was sent to me by CW Longshot. Not a horrible group, not the worst of the day, but also not the best. And I'm wondering if maybe these are keyholes as well. This one looks kind of weird. This one here, you can kind of see a little smear across the top where maybe the bullet wasn't stabilized, so you got a little bit of a rub on the paper there. So maybe we'll continue to play with this one, maybe see if we up the charge a bit, maybe load 5 or 10 more and see if it'll stabilize for us. But very interesting, and we had an average of 1067 with our 4.2 grain charge. So as we got up to our heavier bullets, we were not able to function our gun. Again, we could increase our charge by a few tenths. None of these were maximum loads, so maybe we can revisit that. But this is our 143 grain MP mold with the solid flat nose insert there. This one was only moving 859 and it did not function the gun. I had to manually rack the slide for each one. But here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 holes there. Not a horrible group compared to all the others. Pretty average today. And 3.3 grains, no function. Maybe we can come back here and increase that. But this might just be a powder that's too fast for these heavy bullets. So lastly, our 147 grain Black Bullet International. This one was 3.2 grains and it did not function this time. I remember when I was doing the chronograph testing, it did function, and then today it did not. However, we have a pretty good group here. This might actually be the smallest grouping of the day, but it did not function. The brass kind of just went boop right out the slide, and I had to manually rack and clear a couple failures to eject and so on and so forth. But again, this is probably just too fast burning of a powder to play around with bullets this heavy. So yeah, once again, overall, I think I'm a fan of this powder. It's a nice, fine, spherical, flowing powder. It's good in your powder measures, all that fun stuff. Once again, all of our brass came out pretty clean. Yeah, almost no soot on the brass. No obvious pressure signs. We didn't have anything near maximum charge, so I think if we pick a few bullets to play with and kick it up a few notches with, we might start to see something like that. But let me know what bullets you want to see, because we can play around with all these. But it might not be worth it to play with all of them. Like, once again, these heavier ones, the 143 and 147 grain bullet, I don't know if this is the right powder for those. Well, I'm pretty certain it's not, so we're probably going to skip those. And the ones that keyhold, we'll probably skip those. So I'll probably pick 1 or 2 and load maybe 50 or so of, and we can revisit that. Anyways, before we get rambling too much, thank you very much for watching. I appreciate you hanging out. If you enjoy this sort of content, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you're not already. Stay tuned for more, and let me know again what bullet you want to see some more of with this powder. And we will see you guys in the next video. Have a good one.